starts dancing downstairs. I'm gonna see if I can scare him. I don't know, was the reaction good?
Oh no, you have to watch that back.
Hey Alex. I don't know if I got him.
Oh damn.
Welcome team. Oh, she's a bit lights a bit down here. Good morning everybody.
Guys,
Did
how
I
we
scare
going?
you or not?
You got me.
I got you?
I think it's more the noise though than anything.
I mean, I knew I had to be quick. Hey Gab, how are you, buddy? Welcome to the show. Got everything we need?
How we going, guys? Yep, everything's here.
It does, man. Let's do it. So, guys, we're going to be talking about free food and stuff today. So please,
Free food.
throw in your questions and stuff in the comments. There's already one that came into the event that I just saw. Absolute Muppets.
Yep. All right, so let's get stuck into it. So, as we go with all these, so first we'll just address, we're doing it on a Wednesday today. This is a little bit different. Should go back to Thursdays from next week onwards. I
We
think
won't go into why.
Yeah, next week is, I think it'll be the last set, best set, am I right?
No, the week after.
Week after? Because next week, Monday is the 27th.
Yeah, so it'll be a week after.
week after,
I
yeah.
didn't plan it, yeah.
All right, cool. So back on Thursday next week, but yeah. All right, so let's get stuck into it. Free food. So first question here, as we always start off with questions. Daz, when you say free food, does that mean I don't have to pay for it?
That's very good.
Is that how it is?
Very good. Who wrote that?
That was my first question.
You idiot.
All right, so
very
let's
good.
just go further into that. So what is free food and how is it different to your other meals? So like say if you have a regiment, say Game Changer, how we go PV, PSV, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What's free food? So what's the difference between that?
So you've got to think it's most of the meals that are going to be very heavy in like high fat and high carbohydrate mostly. It's all the stuff that is going to be a lot of calories in one go. I guess is how you would look at it. And it's like your pizza, your burgers. I mean, obviously you can make your own, which is pretty good. But like there's always healthy options and alternatives, right? But it's definitely got to be the ones that Maltese is chocolate. I mean Maltese. I just brought that up because of the question. But like all your sugary stuff and very high in carbohydrates and high fat, like I said, very dense in calories.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so that's what free food is, guys. It doesn't mean don't pay for it. It just means it's just another word for saying food that's outside of your sort of regime, sort of that doesn't fit your protein, carbs, fats. Sort of goes above those.
Yeah, we should cover that because like a lot of the time, I mean, we used to use the term as well, like cheat meal, but we've sort of gotten away from it because we don't want you to feel like you're cheating on anything. It's just part of what you do. But so yeah, cheat meal, free food.
Yeah.
We call them refeeds within the Game Changer program, stuff like that. Because
there's different terms for it. So the most, I guess, popular thing out there, it's called a cheat meal. That's pretty much what free food is. So yeah, you mentioned a few of them, but what are some of your go-to free food options?
Oh man, I love pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah, pizza would be one of my favourites.
Pineapple on
things
pizza?
to go through. No, not really. I mean, I'd have it, but I wouldn't choose
yeah,
it.
I'm indifferent. Like I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
That's a
What do you guys reckon? No, that's just the question always comes up. People like have like their own, like they lose friendships over this stuff, man.
Yeah,
People,
I know.
Do you guys pineapple on pizza or not pineapple on pizza? Put that in. All right, cool.
Yeah, definitely pizza. I like to have a bit of wine and a couple of beers every now and again as well. So that sort of thing, whiskey. So that sort of falls in there with the free food too.
Yeah.
Which we can talk about later. Hey, Soph, Jeannie, welcome guys.
Much of a dessert person?
I'm not really a sweet tooth. Like I'll occasionally just I feel like it and I'll have some.
It's not like you go to rather than like a pizza or something like that.
Yeah, more savoury.
Yeah,
than anything else.
Yeah, so there's just a few options, guys. So when we talk about free food, they're just different options that you go into. So something that's not as healthy as what you would stick to, but something a little bit different that you sort of like, and you can have that sort of fitting into your regimen still.
Oh, I just had another one. It was like a nice glass of red with a cheese platter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cheese and
I love
red.
enjoying that with the wife.
Put on the spread.
What about you?
So, Where to start?
It doesn't include mince and.
Oh, that's my clean meal. That's my clean meal. My free food. I'm a big fan of Mexican food. So like nachos, burritos, tacos, all that sort of things. So anything that ends with O, pretty much. I like those sort of things.
Very good.
But yeah, pretty much anything. Like I'm not very picky. I used to be really picky with what I ate. Now I just eat anything. Like you see what I eat every day.
Garbage disposal.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, it comes out the same way.
Right. Hey, Damo.
Damo, yeah, I hope you just got that. Damo, you can still do the assessment, mate.
You're alive, Buzz? You've been sick. You got the man flu.
All right, so here's the question. So some people don't know this, and so it might differ from person to person, but how big is the portion size on free food?
Yeah, so look, I think the easiest way to get this across is that, and we've mentioned it before, you've got to look at your week in terms of calories, right? So your free food can be as big or as small as you want, but as long as your calories balance over the week, you're going to still be on the right track.
Yeah.
Right? So a meal is a meal. We just eat until you're satisfied, and would be the biggest boundary. Don't overstuff yourself. Don't go nuts or save up for it, and then don't try and get into that habit of just saving and looking out for that free food meal, and then you just go absolute bananas.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bad habit to get into, and you will emotionally get attached to that. It's a poor relationship with food if you continue to do that. But so just eat until you're satisfied, and make sure that your week balances out. And you'll know whether that balances out by tracking the metrics of body fat or scale weight, how you feel, your energy levels, your strength, all that sort of stuff. If you write those down, you'll get a good gauge on whether you're on the right track or not. So don't get too caught up in, I guess, the size, apart from just eating until you're satisfied, not overdoing it.
Yeah, that's it. So
Jakey,
yeah,
how are you, mate?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So when you try to eat the free food, don't, because size can be a big, like if you want a big portion of food or you want a little portion of food, like because they all have different calorie densities as well, the different types of food. As Dad said, don't be too fussed about that when you do have a free food meal, because you only get that. We'll come to frequency a little bit later, but it's not that often inside of your week, depending on your goals and what it might be. So just eat the free food until you're satisfied, and then get on to the rest of your day. And just and we've got more sort of mental based questions, so don't stress out about it too much.
Hey, Sarah. Because I get there's different strategies. Like if you've planned it, you got a wedding, an event, or you're going away, whatever it might be. Then, and on a certain day you're going to be relaxing and doing whatever you want, then you can reduce the amount of meals that you eat that day as well.
Yeah.
But again, it comes back to calories in versus calories out on whether you will lose weight or put weight on.
Yeah.
But the quality of food is then number 2 in terms of importance.
That's where it goes into fat or turns into muscle. That's where that comes into it.
That's it.
So why do we incorporate free food into our regimes? What's the point of free food?
Well, you mentioned it's like a mental thing, right? It's massive in terms of being able to still enjoy the things that you enjoy, that you love, without feeling like you're necessarily on a diet. But let's face it, if you are after a result and you really want it, you are going to have to make sacrifices where you can't eat those things all of the time.
Yeah.
So being able to put them in and sprinkle them in where it suits your lifestyle, it could be midweek, it could be on the weekends, whatever, then it's a lot easier for you to adhere to, because adherence is the first thing.
Yeah.
Like whether it's training or nutrition, there's no point in you doing a protocol you can't adhere to, because you won't stick to it for very long, and then you'll rebound and you'll go into that cycle. Same with exercise. If you don't like it, and you're not adhering to the program, then you're not going to get the benefits of that. You need to find something that you can stick to.
Yeah, 100%. So that's a big thing. So mental is a big thing, because so that's why whenever someone asks me, I never tell anyone to cut out anything of their diet. So when you cut out something, you usually crave it more. And that's what free food's good for, because when you do have those cravings, that free food's your opportunity to get that sort of out of your system, and then move back to get into your regime again. Not get back into it, like still party regime, but you know what I mean. And also, it also is good for changing it up. Like if you have the same with workout, same with anything you do. If you do the same thing all the time, you're going to adapt to it. So if you're eating clean the whole time, eventually your body's going to adapt to that as well. So getting that sort of mixture of those food that are necessarily not healthy, just not a lot, just that minimal amount of time, it's going to change it up. It's going to sort of make your body hormones do different things as well. So your body's going to have to readjust to it. So when you do go back to going to your normal healthy based meals, it's going to be better for you in the long term, because your body's going to have to readjust and get back into that routine. So it's going to sort of somewhat shock the body, if you want to use it for lack of a better term. But yeah, that's something else that it does as well. But yeah, cool. How often, so I guess this depends on the person, but how often should I have free food?
Yeah, so it depends on your goals. You mentioned that before.
Yeah.
It's look, if like I said, if you really want a result, there are sacrifices that will need to be made. And like we work off a 10% rule. If you can eventually get to 10% of your meals free food, then like you're going to more than likely be in a pretty good place long term. But again, it comes down to calories in versus calories out, all that sort of stuff as well. But so let's give you an example. Let's say, so there's 7 days in a week, you eat 5 meals a day, that's 35 meals in your week. If you, let's say 10% of that's 3.5, round it up to 4. There's 4 meals is 10% of a person's week that eats 5 meals a day. Okay, so 4 meals, do whatever you like. The other 31, you're doing some sort of protocol that you want to stick to.
100%. So that's what you should be sort of working towards. And although you might think that, my goal is to add on weight, so that means I can have more free food. Possibly, but not necessarily the case, because then you got to be realistic with what you're doing. So if you're going to eat free food more often, it means that you're not having probably as much protein as you're getting. You're not using the right amount of carbs or the right type of carbs that you should be getting. So you might be putting on weight, you might be putting on a little bit of muscle, but you're also not putting on optimal amount of weight or optimal muscle mass. You're probably going to put on a little bit of muscle, but also going to be a lot of fat because where you're getting your calories from. So essentially, weight loss is calories in versus calories out, but then muscle gain and muscle and fat loss comes down to the different macronutrients you take in.
100%.
So if you eat a lot more free food, it's going to affect you somewhat negatively depending on your goals. No matter what your goals, if your goal is to lose weight, it's still going to affect you negatively because you're probably going to lose muscle as well because you're not holding on to it, getting that sufficient amount of carbs and protein from the correct sources.
Yeah, 100%. So if you visualize what Dan's saying is like, let's say you had 1,000 calories in a week of donuts versus 1,000 calories of good lean protein, mix of carbs and healthy fats. Like they've had the same amount and say that was you're going to maintain at that result. But if you continually did that, the person that's having the good whole food most of the time is going to look a lot different to the person that is having donuts all the time. A lot more muscle mass, toned, fitter, looking healthier, obviously on the inside. This person's going to weigh the same weight, but he's going to be
not look as good.
And look a lot flabbier, probably holding a lot more fluid, that sort of thing. So
and it will affect your fitness levels as well, that sort of stuff, because you do have less muscle mass. Yeah, so 100%. So that's the best example. So 2 different types of foods. Pretty much donuts, free food. Other one is majority what your 90% should be, and then so you want to sort of have that sort of balance. Like it's very strict. Like that is 10% is pretty strict. Don't get me wrong, to have that sort of balance. So some people can do it, and that's something that you can strive towards that you want to do. But just know that the higher that percentage gets of free food, the more realistic you got to be with what your expectations.
You might start with 5 or 6 free meals. It just depends on where you're starting now, and this is what we preach: is like we're not going to tell you a specific protocol what to do straight away until we know how you eat now, and it's like how do you just improve it? So if you're eating out 6 or 7 times a week and it's not great food, then how can we make that 5 or 6? And then you get really good at that, and then it becomes 4 or 5, and then before you know it, you're at 10%. So it makes it easy. It's just breaking it down.
Yeah, so that sort of comes even back to the question that we were given. Maddie put a question in about like the Malteser size, or how many Maltesers can I have, or whatever it might be. So I think it's more of a joke question. Like there's some truth to it, but it's more of a joke question. But like that's the thing. You just got to be realistic with what your outcome's going to be if you do have that, and like that in excess amounts. You can have it, obviously. Try and minimize that percentage compared to your actual regimen, though, to get the best results. So cool. Should I have free food meals close to my workouts? Like, where should I have them around my workouts if I was to have them?
Yeah, so like one of the protocols I'm pretty fond of, and it's why the Game Changer is what it is like the carb cycling side of things, because I just find it's easier to manage if you just know straight away that I train at a certain time. Then that meal after, so post-workout, is a really good time to have your more of your carbohydrates and higher fat items, because your body's craving nutrients to come in, although it'll be optimal if you eat clean, but it's still a good way for it to be partitioned and go towards 100%. Muscle fiber or to the systems of the body that it needs to. So post-training would be ideal.
Yeah, so 100%. So if you were to do it around your workout, same thing. because if you had it before you work out, you're going to feel like absolute crap.
Yeah, that's right. The
You
fuel
might
that you're going to use,
Yeah.
you're not going to feel
And
great.
it's not the best type of stuff to be having before. And then I don't have it in here, but if you're trying to eat it away from your workout, so say you're on a rest day or whatever it might be, probably around the morning time, because then you've got the whole day to sort of work with that sort of food throughout the day. Like you can have it at night time as well, depending on what you do throughout the day, but just say you've got a normal rest sort of day, I'd have it somewhat during like the midday or like brunch time.
Yeah, because basically our metabolism's elevated more in the morning, but then you can think of the next day as well. If you're an early morning trainer, you have your free food for dinner that night, then you got to think like, well, to let you know that it basically takes about 6 or 7 hours for the food that we eat to then be readily available for energy. So if you have it for dinner, then you're going to have that fuel there ready to burn for your workout in the morning, in the early morning. So that's where you can sort of play with it as well. And this is one of the sort of tactics that we use within Game Changer 2 is I look at when you train, and then I try and put the meal that has, you know, more of your starchy product in it, so it's there ready for energy. But like it depends on your goals too.
Yeah.
Like that's more for, you know, a maintenance phase, or if you want to put some muscle and stuff on, it's a good way to do it too. So it depends on the person, but yeah, around training is, you know, post-training would be first, and then pre-training would be secondary.
Very pre.
Yeah,
It's like
talking a couple of, a few hours at least.
Yeah, because you might have heard the term carb loading. It's very, very similar to that if you're going to eat it the day before. So usually when someone does like a long event, if they know they've got something on in the morning, like for example, like a triathlon, they go to triathlon side in the morning, they usually carb load the night before. So then they still have that sort of carb source there before they start their event the next day. It's the same thing with your training. Very similar.
It's the most efficient fuel source is carbohydrates. So.
Yes, 100%. If I fall off the wagon and have free food when I'm not supposed to, what should I do?
Move on.
That's it. Best advice.
Next meal is whole food and is as clean as possible, you know, because this is one of the mental sides of it, right? Is that we get caught up and then it steamrolls into multiple meals. Oh, fuck it, I'll start on next Monday, where it's probably the worst thing you can do is just own it. Go, okay, I didn't plan for this, but you know what? I'm exercising regularly. I do the good things most of the time. It's cool. I can handle that. I've just got to be on point the next day. Because like I said, it comes down to what you consume in the week, then what you consume in the month, then what you've done all year is to where your result will be, right? So don't stress about one meal. It's not going to kill you guys.
So biggest thing there, if you fall off the wagon, have free food when you're not supposed to, like say you've scheduled in to have 10% and you've had it outside, now you're up to 15% or whatever it might be. So the worst thing you can do is then continue to have free food again. Like, because, I fall off the wagon, there's no point getting back on, I'm just going to go downhill from here. I'll start on Monday. That's usually what everyone says.
Monday's International Day for starting.
That's
things.
it. Yeah. International Chest Day, International Start everything over again. Motivational Monday is what they call it.
That's it.
All right. So don't fall into the trap, because as I said, it's easier said than done. 100%. I've done it myself. When you get in that point,
we've all done it. Yeah.
Because things happen. Like we get stressed out. Things happen. People. You got family stuff. You got training. You got work stuff. Everything happens. So you just got to get over it, understand in terms of your food. So get over what you just ate, enjoy what you just ate, and then move on, get back onto your regimen. Because if you keep going down that path, you're going to reverse all the hard work you've done to get up to where you are.
That's right. And just talk to someone if you need to as well, like just to help. Like sometimes just open up and going, I had a shocker yesterday or whatever, and talk about it, and then you just go, okay, I know what I need to do now. I've got to next meal, I've got to plan, just got to get it ready.
And most likely the person you're talking to can relate to that as well. Everyone's had that sort of issue where they've gone into that sort of trap, whatever it might be, and they go to comfort foods and they go down that. So it's just how you get out of that, how do you get back on the wagon, get back into your training, get back into your routine, and then it should be sweet.
Did we cover your free food, did you say?
Yeah, all the O's.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I've forgotten already. All over the show. Sorry, mate. Hey, Sebi. Who else we got? Hey, Lynn, how are you? Vishali,
Anne-Marie. Everyone gets that question.
Mita, Rashila.
Is that a question?
No, that was...
The one there?
Oh, no, just says she's watching. Cheryl,
I think there was a question in there somewhere. Keep going on.
Oh, is there a question, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Dive, free food meal. Can we have pizza and dessert for one free meal if portions are smaller? Look, yeah, it comes back to obviously you being staying within your guidelines of your calories for the week, like I was saying, right? So eating until you're satisfied. Yeah, sure, you could do that. Like we class it as 2 meals within Game Changer, as you know, diet. But that's big, based on portions and things like that. But yeah, of course you can do that as long as it fits your week. Okay, so yeah, good question, dude. Sorry about my finger in the camera, guys. Just trying to get. Scroll down.
So I sort of went into that. So another question was, what about when I get stressed out? Sort of touched on that. So I'll go to the next one. So how can I prevent the temptation to turn to free food? So what are some things you do? Like when you feel like you've got a sweet tooth or whatever it might be?
I think like majority of the time it's coming back to why you may want to be looking at what you're eating in the first place, like what your physical goals are, what your performance goals are, things like that. It's always trying to remember why you're doing it in the first place, and that, like I said before, sacrifices do have to be made depending on what your goals are. So it's coming back to that and just going, no, my why is strong enough that I don't need to do it, But yeah, that would be probably the main one for me.
Yeah, 100%. Mine would be like that as well. Like obviously, but then if you get past that, you still want that. Usually, when I want free food, it can be for a number of reasons. It could be I simply get bored and I just feel like I need to eat. Like there's nothing to do, so I go and eat. But there could be another reason. The reason you want maybe that texture, the type of food, you want that type of flavor, whatever it might be. So then if you have that sort of issue, I'd go for the healthiest alternative or the healthiest option, and then go and take that. So there's different options out there. So you're craving a Mars bar, maybe it's not the best thing, but go get a protein bar instead. Like it's not the best thing, but like you want a milkshake, go get a protein shake instead. There's different alternatives that you can sort of go towards that are going to be better options than that free food, especially if it's not where you shouldn't be having free food at this time, but you're really craving that sort of flavor of whatever it might be. Fruit's also a good one you can go to because of the sugar in fruit, and it's got better micronutrients than other lollies and stuff you can go into. So I'd try and get something that's a substitute for that, but it's a healthier option. It might not be a healthy option, but it's a healthy option than what you're going to go towards.
100%. It's way better to do that. And like if it's something that is that you notice happens a lot and it's a particular thing all the time, there's a thing called such as like a habit loop, right? So there's something that triggers it, there's the routine that you do, and then there's the reward that you have at the end of it. So if you can try and misdirect, whenever you start to feel that craving for that particular thing, maybe you need to try and direct the routine somewhere else. Maybe it's, okay, I've got to go for a walk now. I'm going to go walk the dog. Try and pick something to try and take your mind away from craving that particular food.
And before you know it, your next meal will be up anyway.
Exactly, yeah. So it's sort of trying to redirect and try and start a new habit. A new habit loop for that.
Yes, that's another way to go about it. Another thing to do, if you're trying to lose weight and you can't eat as much inside a day, increase your water intake. So maybe your water intake is not as high as what it should be. So maybe you could increase that a little bit more, which will also sort of somewhat suppress that hunger. So you won't be as hungry because you're filling up on water. That's a healthier option than it is to go and grabbing something that's not necessarily fitting your routine.
Hey team, if you're getting some value out of this and you can relate to what we're talking about today, please give us a like or a love there as well. And if you're watching it back on replay, please still do the same and write replay in the comment section. We want to see how many people are actually watching this back as well, so that would help us out. Thanks, guys.
All right, so this is sort of the last question I had, and we sort of touched on it a little bit. I think it's a big thing that a lot of people do, and a lot of people do intermittent fasting for this. It's, can I sub in free food if I don't eat all day? So, for example, a lot of people that do intermittent fasting, I did it myself. I'm a victim of this. So, I went all day without eating because I was saving myself for that KFC, whatever it might be. But that's... Is that the right way to go about it? We sort of touched on it and we can go further into it, but what do you think?
It comes back to the donuts versus 100%. Whole food situation, right? Sure, you can do that. You're going to eat less. That's what intermittent fasting does, is it basically gives you a smaller window to eat. Therefore, you're more likely not to eat as much because you've got less time. And once you have that first meal, if you've been fasting for a long period of time, you feel full, so you're not going to eat again, very soon after. So therefore, restricting calories, that's what most of these protocols do. If you're putting garbage in, you're still going to have garbage coming out on the outside.
And garbage comes out in all directions. So exactly. So I wouldn't, as Dad said, we talked about with the donut example and all those other types of examples. So your body will reflect what you put into it. So if you say fast the whole day and then your 90% of what you do eat is free food and your 10% is say healthy food, well then you can expect to get 90% terrible results, 10% good results. Like you're going to lose weight on depending on your calories put in, put out. But as we said, the amount of muscle mass you're going to lose, the amount of muscle you're going to put on, how good you're going to look post eating that compared to post eating more of a other split where it's 80 to 20 maybe on the other side, whether it's more healthy food than 20% free food. So you can still do it when you do fasting, but don't do it to a massive extent. So same thing, the percentages should still roughly stay around the same. So you should still work it out to be, try and strive for that 90-10, but if you can't get 90-10 anywhere, you want to keep it at least below like 30% free food.
Yeah,
in
I'd be striving to get 80-20 even, like, you know, just to, like just to get close.
Because as we said, you're going to lose weight, but you're not necessarily going to look the best. And because you are losing weight and not holding on to muscle, it's going to be just as easy to put that weight back on because your
metabolism's slowing down. Yeah,
because the bigger your muscles are, the higher metabolism's going to be. And if you're not holding on to that as you're losing weight, the quicker you're going to be putting it back on. So try and stick to as clean. I don't know the word. I don't like using clean, healthy because there's no real term for that. Like stick to the foods that you know are going to be better for you. The more micronutrient dense foods, the ones that got more vitamins, minerals, because it's going to be better for you in the long run. Rather than picking the free food options.
If it grows on the earth, if it roams the earth, if it flies across the earth, if it swims. They're the ones that are whole food that we're talking about. Yeah,
so try and stick to those as much as you can. Obviously, we all have that time where we want to go to eat those certain foods, which is good. You got room for that. You got that 10 to 20% that we should be trying to fit that in, and that's where you should get rid of those cravings, and then get back onto your regime and stick to what your goals are. Because the biggest thing is what Dad said is what's your why. So why? Every time you try and think about why are you doing this in the first place? What's your reason? It could be deeper than just want to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight?
And I guarantee you, 95% of the time, it's deeper than I just want to lose weight.
Yeah, there's reasons behind why people want to lose weight. It's for self-esteem, for family. Yeah. It's for a whole bunch of different reasons. Yeah, so preventing illness, all those sort of things that you can do. Want to be fitter, want to do an event, some sort of an event. So there's heaps of reasons, and that goes into sort of your mental push to why you should try, how you stay away from those free food options. Like, don't get me wrong, as I said, fit them in as you can, but that's also a key word, fit them in, don't overload them. So try and make sure they fit to what you want to do, and they're going to still work towards your goals. Because, you're going to struggle with your goals, your fitness goals, if you make it that 80-20 split in the wrong direction. So,
100%.
Cool.
But on intermittent fasting, just lastly to close with that, like it's a good strategy if you're looking to, I guess, for like weight or fat loss. But for someone that wants to perform better and possibly put muscle on, then I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. There are some freaks out there that can do that. But, they're genetic freaks too.
Yeah.
So,
as I said, guys, it's all about calories in versus calories out. And then next step from that is where you get the calories from. Intermittent fasting just restricts the calories, so you usually turn to food that are more calorie dense, which is usually the food that aren't as good. In the most case, people out there can do it, but for most case, people turn to the other foods, which I was a victim of myself. So I found that didn't really work for me in the best sense. So there's other ways to go about your nutrition.
Yep.
Are there any questions out there? So obviously those that are in there hasn't been a question. We got only 4 people left.
4 people left in there.
So has anyone got a question that's in there about your free food habits maybe, or about what's the question we put out there about this? So the last one maybe was good.
Well, what's your favourite free food? Put that in the comment section.
Yeah.
Or
I'll
maybe how often do you have your free food? Like, give us a bit of insight into you guys if it's something you struggle with.
Yeah, what are your struggles? Like, why do you feel like you turn to free food? What's your biggest, like, what's your trigger?
Weakness?
What's your trigger that turns you towards free food? Is it because you're bored? Is it because you're stressed out? Is it because mainly it's because of stress? Because like all the other things like work, training, sleeping, it all comes down to stress essentially.
Sweets, pastries, okay, yeah.
Sweets, pastries, cool. So what triggers you? Like, what's some of your biggest obstacles? What can we work with to try and minimize those triggers? Or
so like, is it maybe, Di, that you walk past walk past somewhere a bakery every day, and you get the smell of it, you see it, so then like that's your cue or your trigger that you go, oh, I feel like one of those, you know, or you know, so there's always going to be something. Rashila's stress, okay, drives you towards it. That's so common, isn't it? The emotional side of things of you know, the comfort food.
Yeah, we all turn to comfort food because it makes you feel better, and you just don't have to do anything. But yeah. With the smell, we get that at boot camp on every night, or not lately, but some
from the restaurants.
Yeah, the restaurants. It all just comes down that hallway.
Yeah.
But I think it's good. I think it's sort of just grit. Like you guys are working out whilst you're smelling that food. You're going to go home, eat whatever you eat afterwards.
And maybe you're getting a bit of energy through the nostrils.
Yeah, that's it. It's like a placebo effect. Like yes, push me further. But yeah, that's a funny thing sort of that happens on some nights anyway. Got some more in there. What are coming in?
So Di said her trigger was social and family time. Yeah, so you know, going to events all the time. Yeah, it's definitely tough with those sorts of things that you can't really take food to. You know,
100%.
And that's where you got to. Hopefully, you know in advance of those situations and you can plan for those. But obviously, if it was happening every day, it's going to become a problem. Or you eat before you go, so you are
that's an
full.
option as well. And then not necessarily like. You don't have to change anything that's there, but as I said with the alternatives, just whatever's the best option there, go towards those. Like usually meetings and events, like they will have unhealthy and then healthier options. Like they're probably not going to be healthy, but like they're the best option you can go towards there, and you're not going to feel as bad if you went towards those compared to going to the stuff that's not the best thing for you.
100%.
So yeah, just trying to go to healthier alternatives would be my option. My recommendation if you go to different social events. Yeah,
and Di's put, you feel like it's a way to celebrate and enjoy with family. Yeah, for sure. Like it 100%. Happens with me too, Di. Like we have quite a large family, and basically there's events, birthdays and stuff on all the time, and you know it's
a culture thing. Like it's part of the Australian culture. Like you get together, have a barbie. It's not necessarily the best food, and that's all well and good. You know what? You can still fit those social events in. Obviously. Like unless you're like a party animal, have a social events like every day. Like that'd be
well, I mean, we have a social event here every day.
Yeah, well, pretty much every day at work's a social event.
There's lots of protein shakes.
But yeah, so you can always work those in. You can always fit those in, and I wouldn't hesitate or don't sort of hold back from don't sort of exclude yourself from those things because of what your nutritional goals are. But just go and pick the best option there, and then just know what you've eaten there. Then go work it back into what you're doing on the regular basis. But obviously, as we said, don't overload anything. Don't go past. Just go till you're satisfied, and you can still go to the social events. You still drink whatever you want to drink. Just make sure that you know what you've taken in, and you can understand that yes, I've done this. I've got to try to work this into where I'm going to. Because
you either got to go burn a few extra calories, go for a walk or something, or you know you've got to plan it into your week so that it fits.
But obviously, try not to do that on purpose. Like we don't want people to go and eat crappy food and think, oh, if I go for a 10k run, it'll be sweet.
That's exactly right.
But it's just those times where it does happen and you do struggle. That's a big thing to try and work around it.
Rashila said, "Okay, guys, you need to stop talking about freshly baked goods. Drive me not into temptation." Oh, there's more.
Those muffins. Fresh.
Can find it myself.
All right.
Yeah. No, sorry about that, champ.
All right. So we put out what's your best. So even if you're watching this back and put this in. So Daz asked, what's your best sort of free food, or what's your free food options? What's some of your free food alternatives? So what's something that you'd turn to that you think sort of healthier option? Well, not you think, but what would you go to that would be a healthy option for you when you're craving something? So say you're craving a Mars bar, you're craving a Snickers, or you're craving something. Or you're craving a milkshake, whatever it might be. What would you guys turn to in terms of that? Please don't say milkshake, Snickers, Mars bars. Like, what are your alternatives? Would you go to fruit? Would you go to whatever it might be, a protein bar? Would you go to a protein shake instead, or something like what? Or maybe you guys don't go to anything. You guys probably need more options, more different things you can go towards.
I definitely go towards, like, you know how you mentioned about, or asked about sweet tooth before, like, you know, is it sweets or savoury or whatever. Yeah, mine would definitely be like the fruit side of things, Greek yogurt, protein powder, like you just mentioned them. They're pretty much my go-tos with anything like that. Or if I'm feeling snacky, and I don't want to have anything that's tempting, that's around me, then it'll be those things. Yogurt with some fruit, maybe some nuts, some, you know, a bit of honey.
Yeah, nuts are good ones as well.
Or protein shake or something like that,
Yeah, nuts are good. I'm a big fan of almonds. Almonds are good. Homemade protein balls. What
balls,
Di just said.
yeah.
That's a good option. That's
Absolutely.
So obviously it's a source of protein. There's a bit of carbs in there as well, but it's a good sort of alternative to having like a chocolate, which is good. But yeah, nuts are perfect, guys. Like different types of nuts. They're high in, like they are quite high in fat, but it's healthier fat, and it's also a source of protein as well. Not a whole lot of protein, but it is a source of protein.
They are calorie dense, so just be careful to the amount, but they're definitely go-tos.
Definitely better than some things that are out there.
What have we got? Yogurt with protein powder. Yep, had that yesterday afternoon. That's one of my go-tos.
Yeah,
Love it.
100%. Even things like, it's not really cheap, it's probably more clean than anything, but like even like oatmeal, you put oatmeal and then put like a little bit of honey or cinnamon in it. It's just to get that sort of sweetness. So it's healthier versions of carbs, only a little bit of like sugar through the little bit of honey you put in.
Yep.
That's also an option you sort of turn to if you have that sort of sweet craving.
Yeah, if you're a cereal eater too, normally in the morning, like
Yeah.
having oats or porridge, as long as it's the one that you make yourself. Don't get the packet bought flavoured ones.
Yeah.
Loaded with sugar. But yeah, create your own that way. It's still carbs, but it's a lot better source of carbohydrate, like you're saying.
Yeah, rather than getting like Fruit Loops and stuff, which is 100% sugar.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there are different options you can go towards. Different alternatives in terms of like milk and stuff as well. So let's say, for example, you need to cut you're trying to reduce fats, or maybe you're lactose intolerant. There's all different types of milks out there. Like almond milk is a good one that's sort of calorie friendly and sort of macronutrient friendly. So there are different options out there. So for example, for your coffee, if you drink coffee and you need milk, there are different options out there as well.
Jimmy, just to give him a little bit of a mention in here, he loves his coconut water. Is it coconut milk at the moment in his coffee? Oh man, he gave me a try of it. Mate, I don't know how you drink that shit. Dead set.
I haven't had coconut milk.
But maybe it's up your alley, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's different, guys. So just go out there, try some different things. Go and have just go and even when you go to the because I did this because I never I've been shopping the last few years now, but I never used to shop. So when I went to the shops, I used to just look at all the different ingredients and stuff and just look at what's actually in the food, and you sort of learn to sort of how you can make it your own diet healthy. Like maybe some things you thought were unhealthy are probably healthier than you thought. So maybe just go have a look, and then on the other side, maybe things you thought were healthy probably aren't as healthy as you think. So and I think
because it says low fat, or it says
or
low
reduced,
sugar.
it says reduced fat, but it's still got more fat than anything else. Yeah. So just going through when you go to the supermarket, just check at different things, just read different labels, and not so much ingredients are important and stuff like that, but that they would be more important actually. But even if you just look at different fats and stuff, because the sugar's a big one that usually gets you. That's because obviously sugar is the one that quickly burns or quickly turns into energy, and the ones that don't get used turn to fat. So that's a big one you need to watch. But yeah, just when you go to the supermarket, just have a look through different foods, and yeah,
you might be surprised.
Yeah, you might be surprised. That's the big thing that I found when I was sort of focusing on my diet, is the different foods I was eating and what's sort of not as healthy as I thought it was, and then turned me towards different foods. That's why I eat vomit now. So I didn't mention this, but yeah, Game Changer birthed the vomit.
Did it really?
Yeah, last year when I joined last year's because I was eating food and I was hitting the calories and the macronutrients, but the micronutrients weren't as healthy. So because it wasn't more whole foods, and then I just went to whole food sources, so just beef, eggs, and veggies.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much where that got birthed from. And then from there, I had great results, so I just stuck with it. Obviously, I have other stuff around it, but that's like a staple almost. Staple what I go to. Yeah, it's a game changer.
There you go.
Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the Game Changer. Those are on it now. Into week 2.
Doing well. Yeah, we're in week 2 now.
Week 2. Yeah. So hopefully, you guys are doing well. Yeah. All right, guys. I don't know if you got anything else to add.
No, I think we'll just recap. So just in summary, guys, with your free food, work towards trying to plan your week, plan for those meals so it makes it easier and less stressful for you. Aim to work towards 10% of your meals being free food. And yeah, try and eat your other 90% of meals, the whole food option that we've been talking about. But yeah, enjoy those times.
Yeah.
Like we've said, enjoy it. It's a good time with family, like you said, Di. And to just know that you can still eat those things that you enjoy, but obviously it's moderation, and it's got to be geared towards what the outcome that you want. So what are your goals and why?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Whenever you're planning out anything, or whenever you're trying to work towards anything, you're trying to regiment, understand why you're doing it, because then that sort of motivates you to keep doing it and stick to it. Because if you don't have a reason why, your reason why is not strong enough, you're not going to stick to it. So you got to understand why you're doing it. whether it be family, whether it be health, whether it be self-esteem, whether it be all those things put together. Try to find what's important to you and why you're doing what you're doing. Yeah, it's going to help you not only with nutrition, but training, anything goals that you have, like work-wise as well. Just realize why you're doing it, and that is going to help you stick to it. It's going to help you prevent going towards, when you do fall off the wagon, it's going to help you get back onto it. It's going to know my why is stronger than why I don't want to do it. So that's massive.
So use your calls, guys, every month that you receive from the team in regards to trying to set a path for you and, you know, explaining how you work and what sort of strategies and things that we can recommend. That's the best time for you to do it, but any time really. But, you know, you've got contact every single month from the team to be able to do that.
Yeah, so reach out to us as guys. If we haven't got to you within the month or you haven't got back to us, or whatever it might be, or you might just think of something on the day, send us a message. Whenever you think of something and you have like something that you think you can work with or something you don't know, just send us a message and we'll get back to you in contact with you. Even if it's like, if we send you a message 2 weeks ago, but you thought of something just now, just send us a message, go, oh, I saw this or whatever it might be, can I do this? And then we'll give you our best recommendations of what we can do and help you go along that path.
100%.
But yeah, guys, that's free food.
Thank you, team. Thank you, mate. That was good.
Don't
Enjoyed
pay for it. Don't pay for it.
Yeah, it's not free.
It's not free. Pay for it. Sorry, pay for it.
It is freer.
It's
All right,
free.
team. Have a lovely day, and we'll speak to you
guys.
soon. Bye.
Take care.